Welcome back to the new video. Today, we bring you another awesome story here at Worth Knowing. Watch the video till the end to know more and subscribe to the channel so that we keep bringing you such videos. When the blonde-haired, blue-eyed tween posted a few singing videos on YouTube in 2007, Justin Bieber was probably the last person on earth you wanted to feel bad for. Got snatched up by the big record labels, who then pushed his cheesy pop songs on us. Then, he became the center of attention of every young girl's obsession, earning him millions of dollars and ensuring that his songs would continue to be played on the radio. He was a person that was simple to hate or ignore entirely. However, he began change in the early 2010s, lashing out in public and assaulting people, and starting to confirm people's suspicions of him being a snobby rich brat. Additionally, even while the purpose of this video is not to convince you that Justin Bieber is a saintly figure without flaws, there is another angle to take into account that might help to explain some of his antics, such as the many times when he was blatantly assaulted or harassed in public.
Hey again. You smell amazing. How old are you?
Thank you.
It isn't very difficult to see how uncomfortable Justin is. James Corden is leaning in as close as he possibly can with his hand resting on Justin's back.
Look at him. Look at what a beautiful face. All right.
Justin's face was rubbed, and it was just rude, but he couldn't resist touching the boy. Bieber awkwardly tries to get in on the joke, but James only makes it worse.
Listeners, I should say, and here to present it is a woman who has broken more bands than I...
Justin was touched by David Letterman during the 2012 interview.
Explain this to me. Is that a new tattoo?
This is a new tattoo.
Oh, God. How many do you have?
I have just a couple.
Well, tell me that's the last one.
It might be.
No, it is. You don't, I mean, honestly. How does that help?
David insisted on denouncing Justin's tattoos. Is that a new tattoo? David decided to treat Justin like his son's troubled friend, looking for guidance, even though it was never asked for. Funny thing is, Justin ended up doing exactly what David told him not to do, but Letterman took it too far when he put his hands on Justin.
I believe.
Get that off of there.
Hey, this is a brand new.
Although this one wasn't explicit in nature, it was still totally uncalled for. David would eventually express apologies for his actions, but it's odd to observe how many people were willing to touch the boy. People couldn't stop touching Justin, including Katy Perry, who had to get herself a handful as she mouths to the camera, "Sorry, Selena." At the end of this interaction, Justin says, "We can do that forever if you want," which led some others to believe that he approved of this behavior. He was lucky to be able to stop Lee Remini from touching him while they were talking on the talk.
I have a third eye. Hey, no.
Before, Justin had to yell "no" 5 times she would stop. But that's not all. Earlier in the segment, she was forcing him to answer a really strange "would you rather" question.
Would you rather have to be naked on stage during one full song, or drink a cup of blended worms? Answer, Justin Bieber.
Lee insisted on posing this very sexual question for no apparent reason, while there are little girls and boys directly behind her. In the audience, Justin realized he was trapped, because no matter what he tried to say, she was trying to force the answer she wanted out of him, but he stood his ground and chose to not give in to her manipulation. Justin had previously defended himself when the host made sexual advances toward him while they were doing a morning radio show called Mojo. Shannon Murphy, the broadcaster, steered the conversation in a strange direction.
Has your mom given you the sex talk yet? I mean, I really don't want to have that conversation with my mother. Yeah. I've kind of had it with my father.
You want to hear? Oh, really? See, my parents never gave me the sex talk.
Okay.
So why don't you give me the sex talk?
I feel uncomfortable right now.
Oh.
Why do you want to know the sex talk from a 15-year-old boy? That's pretty weird. Let's talk about the album.
He made it very clear that he felt uncomfortable when the host brought up sex, but the circumstances leading up to this are a little unclear because they happened earlier in the conversation.
Justin, what are you going to be doing after the show tonight? I thought I was picking you up.
Now, when I was 15 years old, I probably would have said some dumb stuff like that to an older girl, but apparently Justin couldn't keep his hands to himself.
That little kid is like a walking set of hormones. He is.
Wow, got a little too touchy-feely with you?
he wasn't just like patting my butt, he was grabbing my butt, and he kept saying, "Is it inappropriate? Is this inappropriate?"
Oh my God!
And he would
How
grab it harder and go, "Is it inappropriate now? Is it inappropriate now?" Hi. Oh my gosh, he's kissing me. Here, come sit here. Come sit with me right here, dude. Justin Bieber just like comes up and you just started making out with me. You know that?
Is that not appropriate?
Justin was obviously flirting with Shan in a juvenile way. Then she said live on air how Justin was touching and kissing her. We can imagine there were definitely some instances where Justin felt like he could probably touch whoever and whatever he wanted since, well, it was often done to him. But regardless, the 26-year-old shouldn't have brought up the sex conversation on the air. Even men were infatuated with young Bieber. La Reed music executive who signed Justin to his first major record deal said this kid was beautiful, like a woman can be beautiful and men rarely are, and he turned it on as soon as he stepped into the room. He recalls how Bieber had grown his hair down, almost covering his eyes, and says he could see immediately that Justin's hair would be every bit as important as his songs, his voice, his face, or his presence. Justin was simply beautiful. He gushes his superpower was his face. The context of this article makes it seem like Ellie Reed was attracted to the young Bieber, but we don't really know that for sure. He was definitely right about his star power, but how he came to that conclusion just seems a little odd. However, the most deplorable assault was by Jenny McCarthy at the 40th Annual American Music Awards. Justin Bieber was shocked and speechless, but the truth, I feel violated right now by this point. This was all too common for him. The craziest part is that Jenny straight up admitted to her crimes.
But I took the opportunity in the window, considering I'll never get to do it again, and kind of molested him.
Jenny clearly enjoys the predatory behavior, as she described it as molestation, and our word, she thinks it's cute and quirky, and even bragged about it on Twitter after. Now, if this all happened while the cameras were on, could you try to imagine what happened when the cameras were off? In the same way that many child stars have turned to drugs, every kid tries it. However, he was trying to cope and escape, which resulted in actions that permanently damaged his reputation for all the people that hated Justin. He was about to give them a stronger reason, and all those who had inflated expectations were going to have them dashed by him. First controversy began in 2013 when TMZ leaked photos of him holding what appeared to be a blunt. Although Justin faced no charges for the incident, this was our first clue that Bieber was beginning to shed his wholesome image. Things took a turn for the worse later that same year. While on the European leg of his Believe tour, Justin stopped in England just in time for his 19th birthday. Later that day, Bieber tweeted "Big night," anticipating his birthday celebration. He and his entourage had planned a 8,000 birthday bash, booking tables at the Cirque du Soir Club in Soho. Unfortunately, the celebration didn't meet expectations after members of Justin's entourage were denied entry into the club because a few of the members of Bieber's party were under the suitable age of 18. Justin tweeted "Worst birthday," complimented with a message to his Instagram account voicing his side of the story. "I love how the club wanted to give the press another reason why we didn't stay at their weak-ass club, so they wouldn't look bad for me walking in and right back out." People thought Justin felt entitled to come into another country and break the rules because he is a star from there. He allegedly showed up 2 hours late for his debut show at the O2 Arena after throwing a massive tantrum. Several backstage sources claimed Bieber was in a bad mood after waking up late because of a night out and proceeded to lock himself in his dressing room to play computer games. The crowd reportedly began booing at about 9:30 p.m., almost an hour before Justin ultimately hit the stage. If the week couldn't get any worse, Justin lashed out at a photographer outside his London hotel after the man called him a little Washington.
What did you say? You heard what I said, man. What'd you say? You heard what I fucking said, mate. Lose your fucking belt. Lose your fucking belt. Lose your fucking belt.
I just love the irony of this situation. The photographer tries to get a rise out of Justin, then Justin responds with threats. Then the photographer gets really mad at Justin for getting mad at him, and the guy also taking the video of the situation gets upset. When someone starts filming him, it's ridiculous. He responded on Twitter by saying he had a rough morning and that he let his emotions get the best of him. But this incident started his lifelong beef with the paparazzi. In June of 2013, Justin and his entourage were involved in an altercation with a photographer outside the Hit Factory studio in Miami. The entire exchange was caught on tape. Later that same day, Justin was skateboarding outside the Hit Factory when another photographer began snapping photos of him. Bieber's bodyguards allegedly rushed the photographer, and one started choking him. The photographer claimed that he grabbed his camera and removed the memory cards. It seemed like every few months there was another controversy, just slowly chipping away at his reputation, like when he peed in a cleaning bucket while partying. Justin and his friends left a nightclub through the restaurant's back entrance before stopping to relieve himself in the kitchen, more specifically in the bucket that is filled with water to clean the floors. This is just another inconsiderate drunk teenager doing what a million others have done before, but Justin should know better. Then, while passing through China during the Asia leg of his Believe tour, a picture was posted of him being carried up the stairs, which caused people on the internet to label him as a diva. His controversies were definitely minor in the beginning. He was being heavily criticized, attacked in blogs, and by TMZ for the situations that were pretty small, but the controversies just never stopped. The coverage got more detailed, and the reactions just got worse, including the time he caused an entire revolution in Colombia. In November 2013, Justin was undergoing the Latin American section of his Believe tour. While in Bogota, Colombia, Justin snuck out of his hotel to do graffiti in an area where graffiti is banned. He painted a marijuana leaf and the Canadian flag while the police provided him with security. We aren't sure why the police decided to protect him, and the locals were outraged because 2 years prior a police officer shot and killed an unarmed 16-year-old kid while he was spraying graffiti in an area similar to the one where Justin did. His rebellion against law enforcement broke out because of Justin Bieber can spray graffiti. So can they, and if the police protected Justin, they should defend graffiti artists instead of harassing and incarcerating them. 300 artists came together and occupied the area where Justin sprayed his graffiti, and over 24 hours painted more than 700 pieces of graffiti. Justin Bieber was the cause for all of this to happen. The poor dude had no idea what he sparked, said one of the young graffiti artists. The rebellious graffiti trend spread like wildfire to other major cities across Colombia, with hundreds of other artists joining the movement. He'd also had a spitting problem, with multiple reports over the years of him spitting on people during violent outbursts, including his own fans who were visiting him outside of his hotel in Toronto, where he spat down on them, breaking out into laughter with his buddies. And he took a photo of his view, which was posted on Instagram, supporting a caption about how he has the best fans in the world. In 2014, he spat in his neighbor's face after a heated argument, which started by Justin driving his Ferrari at over 100 miles per hour down the road. When his neighbor confronted him at the front doorstep, Justin told him to get the F out of here before spitting in Jeff's face and saying, "I'm gonna effing kill you." A year later, he had another altercation with the same neighbor, which resulted in Justin throwing 24 eggs at his neighbor's house. Months later, Justin pleaded no contest to 1 count of misdemeanor vandalism for the incident. In exchange for the plea, he was ordered to pay $80,000 in restitution and to stay away from his former neighbor and the neighbor's family for 2 years. By this point, Justin kind of proved he was a privileged boy with an attitude problem. But this last controversy would send him spiraling down. In June of 2014, a video emerged of the 15-year-old Justin telling racist jokes about black people, using the N-word multiple times. As the video went viral, Justin issued an apology, stating, "I thought it was okay to repeat hurtful words and jokes, but I didn't realize at the time that it wasn't funny, and that in fact my actions were continuing the ignorance." Some people gave him the benefit of the doubt that he was young and dumb, but then a second video showing a 15-year-old Justin circulated similar to the first. He sang his own song, "One Less Lonely Girl," replacing the lyrics with "one less lonely," and using the hard R, stating that if he were to kill one, he would be part of the KKK. He apologized again a day later and was released, stating, "Facing my mistakes from years ago has been one of the hardest things I've ever dealt with, but I feel I need to take responsibility for those mistakes and not let them linger. At the end of the day, I just need to step up and own what I did. Once again, I'm sorry for all of those I've let down and offended. I don't think I really need to explain why people were absolutely outraged with this. And for a lot of people, once they saw these videos, their mind was made up about Justin Bieber, and they're never going to change their mind, and I can't blame them for that." Justin dragged his reputation to an all-time low. He was stamped as just another child star gone mad after a drunk driving incident in Miami. He was never the same. Justin was seen at SCT nightclub in Miami Beach, Florida. He left the venue driving the yellow Lamborghini before police spotted him in a residential neighborhood. Bieber's entourage allegedly blocked the street so he could drag race singer Khalil, who's driving a red Ferrari. Authorities initially conducted a traffic stop for drag racing, but arrested Justin once they realized he was intoxicated. He was arrested on suspicion of driving under the influence, driving with an over 6-month expired license, and resisting arrest without violence. His mug shot depicting him smiling was concerning to fans. Police claimed Bieber told authorities he consumed alcohol, smoked marijuana, and took prescription drugs. He and Khalil were locked up in a jail cell for 10 hours. Justin was later released from these charges on a $2,500 bond. A toxicology report revealed that Bieber had THC and Xanax in his system at the time of his arrest. Following Bieber's arrest on the DUI charge, more than 270,000 people petitioned the White House, seeking to have him deported from the United States. Although the number of signatures received was sufficient to require a response under published White House guidelines, the Obama administration didn't take the petition seriously. But it turns out behind the scenes, Justin had a much worse drug problem than people realized.
There was a time where I was sipping lean, I was popping pills, I was doing Molly, shrooms, everything, and it was just an escape from me.
Justin's drug abuse got so bad, he was even caught in the most dangerous areas of Los Angeles buying drugs.
MS Gang. Nice seeing you, bro. Have a good one. I just saw Bieber. I just seen Bieber. Leave it to Bieber.
That's crazy. His addiction got so bad, he was willing to put his own life at risk. Justin says his substance use was normal in the beginning, but gradually became a problem to escape from the pressure of being this pop star. And although many people look at that as suffering from success, the level of expectation he needs to meet is unattainable. Surely, a lot of his controversies were deplorable, but the ones that were minor were treated just as bad. That likely led to him giving up on his health, his body, and lashing out. Since they were going to criticize him anyways, he couldn't go out on a bad note though, so he made one last push. After teaming up with Skrillex to produce a number of different sounds, Where Are You Now Then? What Do You Mean, which was his first #1 hit single, Sorry, which kind of doubled as his apology to the world for his behavior, Love Yourself, and plenty of other radio hits to help him release his most successful album of all time, Purpose. It's hard for his opposition to feel bad for him, when in the end, all of his antics will just help him sell more records. No matter what he does, it will be seen as the wrong step. It's quite literally is the child star curse, because nothing you do will ever compare to how you were introduced to the world as a perfect, innocent child. And with that, he finally stepped out of the spotlight. And when he returned, you could see how bad things really got. First of all, his music got worse. Yummy was terrible, but more importantly, in the press runs that led up to this, you can see Justin physically suffering. His anxiety was so bad to the point where he was constantly fidgeting, slumping over, not looking at people. Perhaps the most profound moment was during his Zane Lowe interview, when he asked Justin about Billie Eilish, since Billie in 2020 was the 18-year-old pop star who was thrown into the industry. Very similar to Bieber, Justin felt like he wanted to protect her. Just the mere thought of Billie and during what Justin had to endure brought him to tears, and recalling those dark moments in his life made fans realize that this was not fake. This young man was likely abused by this industry. Justin's antics have slowed down considerably. He's 29, has a child, and a wife he's fully focused on. Does he still have an entitled pop star attitude at times? Absolutely. Is he still have beef with the paparazzi? You bet. Some of you will never see Bieber as anything but a privileged boy who didn't have to put in much hard work to see the heights of the music industry. But even the benefits of his success, being universally loved, being praised, and constantly receiving validation, are also bad. Variety magazine dubbed him a once-in-a-generation superstar who charted a swift and stunning rise from precocious YouTube talent to global phenomenon. How the heck do you live up to that? Bieber was being cheated and rewarded for a smile and a hair flip. The world put him on this unsustainable pedestal, which ultimately caused him to break. All I know for sure is no money or fame is worth whatever the heck he had to endure to get it.